Hey everybody, welcome back to The Birth Couple. And today we're going to talk a little bit more about what a birth partner can be.
Hi everyone. So one of the biggest questions that people get asked is your husband or your spouse going to be in the room with you when you deliver? And usually the answer is yes. Definitely. That's the main person that they want in the room with them, aside from their chosen healthcare provider.
This, however, is drastically changing. The atmosphere in the birth world is becoming much more open-minded. You're not just getting your typical doctor or OBGYN and the father or partner or spouse. You're now also getting people like midwives, doulas, photographers. You're getting family members that are requested to be in the room at the same time, like mothers and grandmothers or best friends that are there to support you through your journey. So this role is completely changing. And today we're going to review a little bit more about what exactly that is, who those people are, and what your limitations or opportunities are there to experience a better birth. So through this series, we're going to review a little bit more and go really into depth on who you can have with you. So it's going to start with, we're going to talk a little bit about who your main medical support can be. So from your OBGYN, family doctor, because some physicians still do that. We're going to go through possibly surgeons. We're going to go with midwives, as well as then your nurses are definitely a big part of that as well. From there, we're going to go into what your secondary medical support is. And that's going to be more of your nurses, your backup midwife, student midwife possibly, and slightly touch on kind of how a doula comes into that. Even though they're not a medical support, they're definitely there for your physical and emotional support. So another birth professional. After that, we're going to go into your birth partners. So that's where you're more going to see people like the husband, the wife, the best friend, the mom, the grandma, whoever it may be that you're most comfortable with, that you want at your birth to make you feel comfortable and make you have the best experience that you possibly can have, which is really what we're all here for. So that's a little bit about what we're going to go through over that blog series. Today, we're going to just kind of do like a summary of everything, and then for a little more detail, you can go into the blogs and read those. We'll put a link to the blogs down in the description. It'll be on our website. You can also kind of keep up to date on when those are coming out by watching our Instagram and Facebook feeds, because we'll be posting about them there. You might, depending on how much interest is there, see a couple more vlogs about it too on here. So keep your eyes open. But let's get into it.
So first things first is the lead medical support. Most of the time people choose to go with an OB, but that's changing rapidly. There's also midwives, which is what we use for both of our boys.
Yep.
Obviously with our second, we had to have the secondary care go to the OB because we had to have a C-section. Yep. The midwife stayed with us through the whole C-section,
which was amazing,
and stayed with us to the first 3 days, really. They came every day in the hospital to help us through that, which was great. OBs are usually what people most traditionally go for, is to have the baby in the hospital with an OB. But more and more people are choosing to have midwives. A lot of people don't know that you can have midwives and still have a hospital birth. But it's also becoming more common to choose a home birth, where a midwife comes to your home so that you can birth at home, which is a wonderful alternative.
We did that for our first. We had our first at home with midwives. It's a team of 3 midwives. 2 attended the birth. There was a third backup. There was 2 midwives and a student midwife. With our birth, we ended up actually having the 2 midwives both at the birth, just based on the things worked out with dates and times and when we had the baby. And our second, we were also in the care of midwives, but it had to transfer over into care of an OB due to us needing a C-section because of little Ren was frank breech.
And then we have secondary support, which is nurses, your doula if you have one, and the second midwife.
Yeah.
The second midwife is kind of like the nurse to the OB. They're there to monitor you, the baby, to make sure that your partner's okay, that you're comfortable. Essentially like the nurse to the OB.
Exactly. And so your midwife will typically, like Kira said, one will focus on mainly the baby once the baby's born. The other one will stick with the mom. That'll typically have been the midwife that would have spent the most time with the mom during the labor. Exactly. Sometimes the second one will be a student midwife. Sometimes it'll be a fully certified midwife. That was our scenario. And then you've got your doula. Your doula kind of fits into two different roles here. They can be your secondary support as well as they really are a birth partner. So in secondary support, they kind of fit into that category just because they are still very much so a physical support for the mom with helping change positions and counter pressures and everything like that. So that's where they kind of fit into there, as well as there's definitely a lot of emotional support there, but that more or less goes into the birth partner.
And your doula is really there not just for you as the birthing person, but for your spouse as well, to make sure that you're both comfortable, that you both know what's happening, what's going on. If your spouse, your husband, your wife needs to go to the washroom, needs to go get something to eat, that you have continual care during your entire labor, no matter what everybody else around you is doing.
Yeah. And that's where your birth partner really comes in. So let's talk about that. That's really what we're here for today to talk about. And that's really what this blog series is going to get into, is really in depth into what a birth partner is, how they can dramatically change your birth, who they can be, and how many can you have. So your birth partner, the most typical one there, would definitely be the husband, the spouse, the wife, the girlfriend, fiance, boyfriend, whoever it may be, essentially whoever helped make the baby. But they also don't need to be in the room. Some people don't want to be in the room, can't be in the room due to the fact that they can't quite make it through something that medical. I know for me, as a first-time dad, I made it all the way through. I was able to support Kira all the way through to the end. But as soon as baby was out, I touched our little guy on the head, made sure my wife was okay. I had to go take a little bit of a breather, which is totally okay. Yeah, everyone might have to.
Acceptable.
You get the adrenaline dumps, and that's just how it goes. So that's one person that you can have there for your support. And so what did I do for Kira, and what does the typical spouse do? Again, these roles are all going to kind of interchange. So everything that we're about to talk about of what a birth partner is, they kind of swap these roles back and forth. They might stick in one role the whole birth, and the next birth it might be completely different. And person to person, it's going to change. But what they're really there for is to support you emotionally. There's not going to be a ton of physical support, maybe a little bit of helping, if there is no doula, helping with counter pressures, massaging, helping support a leg or keep you propped up, bringing you ice chips, bringing things to the mom, warm blankets, whatever it might be, that the medical staff, one, you don't want to tie them down with, as well as it might be nice for that birth partner to get out for a little breather while they're going to get that stuff as well, because we also need breaks. But so yeah, that's one person, definitely the main partner who helped contribute to making that baby is going to possibly be there. And then you've got the other end of things, which one of them can be a best friend.
So having my best friend was extremely vital to me. She's been my best friend since we were in grade 8, and she was my rock for so many years. Obviously now I'm married and he is as well, but she was still a vital support to me during my birth. She was basically my focal point. I basically didn't take my eyes off her the entire time. She was supportive. She held up my one leg. She didn't complain about the fact that the room was hot because I wanted it really hot. She was there for me. Whatever I wanted, I got. She was compliant, she was happy, she was excited, she was giving off great energy, which is really the main thing when you have when you're in labor and when you choose your birth support system. You want somebody who is there for you no matter what. They just want to see you happy. You need good support, and she was amazing that way. She was wonderful, aside from having obviously you, which were more of the physical support. She was more so just there unconditionally supporting me, which was exactly what I needed from her.
Yeah. And then you can have people like other family members, whether it be a sister, it could even be a brother, a mom, And those people, again, or any birth partner, again, they can provide those little subsidiary roles, like going and getting things. For us, like in a home birth scenario, we had 4 people at the birth, including myself. So it was, and that was just in birth partners. That didn't count our midwives. So again, it can be a really dynamic experience. And now, what limitations do you have? It depends on where you have your birth. Who is your OB? Who is your midwife? Are you having a C-section? Those things all determine how many people you can have in the room with you. So those we'll definitely explore a little bit more in the blog. But essentially, most hospitals, especially in a C-section, typically limit to 1 person. You might get an exception to letting your doula, if you decide to have one in the room with you. They might just have to be a source of support leading up to and post operation. In a regular hospital birth, it's going to be completely dependent on hospital policy, and they'll be different city to city, or if we've got 2 hospitals in your city, that could change within the hospital itself. So yeah, that can really change there. And then from there, you've got home births. And again, we had a home birth, and like I just said, we had 4 people, including myself, at the birth. So it was great to be able to have that flexibility. But again, some people may not want anybody in the room during it. We also have seen that in the past as well.
And that's entirely up to you, what you're most comfortable with. I knew I wanted to surround myself with all of the people. It was something that was important to me, and obviously I made sure that he was okay with that, and we picked people specifically. It was really a personal choice.
Yeah.
And some people want nobody there for the show, and some people want all the people there.
Yeah, so that is kind of a brief summary on what those 3 different kind of supports that you're going to have through each birth are. And that kind of introduces, again, what we're going to focus on here is those birth partners. So again, the link to the description, link will be in the description below to that blog series. You'll see them get posted fairly frequently here. The goal is to have them all kind of up steadily over the course of the next month or so. So you'll get a little bit of reading kind of, each week, whatever it might be, every few days. You might see a couple come up at the same time, but you'll see that there, and we'll go really into depth on what this is. And who knows, again, maybe we'll pop up another video at the same time. So stay tuned. And again, thank you for watching, guys.
Make sure you like, subscribe,
and turn on the notifications. That's huge for helping us really grow this channel. We really want to be able to support you. We really want to be able to put some time into this, but we need your help to do that. So please do, log into your account and like the video and subscribe to it. It's going to help us out a lot in the long run. So, and that'll also help you stay tuned to all the videos that we're going to have coming out. Thanks, everybody.